So yes, I've been talking about male aimlessness for a while now. And in my last video, I basically spoke about how feminism has made men feel like they are useless. And to be very frank, I tell you something, that's their goal. But one thing for sure is that the only way you can win them is by finding your purpose. You can't fight them. You can't fight them. But one thing you can do is if you find your purpose, and some people are so lost that finding their purpose has become very difficult for them. But one thing for sure is that in this video, if you ask yourself the questions that I ask you in this video, I can guarantee you you'll find your purpose. If not now, you can start the question now, better for you. So this is it, right? The major reasons, let's start with the major reasons you have not found your purpose. Two major reasons. One, fear. The other reason is distraction. So when we say fear, most of the time, the reason you are afraid is because you want to fit into society. You want society to accept you for who you are. So guess what? You have dreams, you have ideas. Those ideas are dreams. You will kill it by yourself because you don't want to be judged by society. You're afraid of people's opinions. Guess what? People will talk whether I do nothing or not. People will talk whether I do nothing. People will talk if you do something. So that idea that listen to people's opinions is what's stopping you is super strong, right? To be very frank, at some point, it held me down. It held me down for years. So I'm not here to just say, I'm meant to be somebody who has uncovered it and movie is not making steps to make it better. Second thing now is distractions. Speaking of distractions, right? A lot of the time, the reason we are distracted is because we are either stimulated or we are afraid to just be by ourselves. Listen to our own thoughts because your purpose comes from within. I cannot give you a purpose. You have to figure out what your purpose is. And by the way, your purpose doesn't have to be this grand thing because one particular high school teacher changed my perspective on. He's a high school teacher and he literally loves to teach. He loves to teach physics. And apart from teaching physics, guess what? He really, really loves to find that light in boys because he's the particular teacher who made me believe in myself. He's my physics teacher. And one day he called me after a test and he looked at my sheet and he felt like he never knew that I could literally get that particular mark. So I was doubting myself, but I was the highest in that particular test. And he sat me down, he's like, when he sees me in class, he sees me acting he sees me acting a certain way, he had been studying me for some months, and he felt like I could do better. Literally speaking, at this moment, I was going through a lot in my high school. I don't want to talk about it, but like I said, finding your purpose could be very, very simple. And I feel like that my physics teacher's purpose is to find the light in kids, particularly in kids, teaching physics and yet helping young boys to figure their own light out. So there are three approaches to finding your purpose. This works for everybody. It works for me, works for the guys that have tried it, and it works for you. The first thing is go to your past. Go to the first method is going to your past. Like I said, you don't assign a purpose, you discover your purpose. Right? Again, I used to think my purpose was in tech just because I love tech. Not really. I discovered my purpose after I went through this exercise. Go to your past. Precisely go to your childhood. What are those childhood activities that you really love to do, or things that you really love to do? Because those parts of you are very authentic. But because you try to fit into society, you had to kill it. Because you're trying to fit into society, you had to kill it. And one thing I'm very grateful for is, one thing that I remind myself about this is, there are people who watch anime in their 40s, men. I used to laugh at them and say they are watching advanced cartoon. So I realized that was me attempting to kill an authentic part about them. So I figured that was a very big mistake. And ever since, I use it as a reminder to not judge people, right? So let people do what they enjoy doing, provided it causes no harm to anybody. So what's that authentic part about you? Again, another question now is, what is that thing that people thank you for a lot? This is very important because in my high school, in my university days, one of the things that people were thanking me for a lot was explaining concepts that lecturers are giving to them but they didn't understand. So yes, I was always the person that people were going to, right, for explanation because a lot of the times the smartest guys in the class were always finding it difficult to explain. They knew it, but they couldn't really pass down the knowledge to other people. Right? So looking at your past again, what are the things that you enjoy to do, that you have really enjoyed doing for a while, that you lose a sense of time while you are doing it? Because that is actually called flow state. Right? You're doing something, you love it so much, you can do it for hours without even realizing it's hours. And the second approach is using your present to find your purpose. Because some people are not really gifted with that memory, right? So what do you do is in these approaches, you figure out your problems that you are passionate about. This is where I tell you that your insecurities are a gift. And this is my best approach, right? It's a very wonderful approach. Ask yourself, what problems do you have right now? What are your biggest problems right now? Try solving those problems. And the problems that you find to be very, very passionate about, try helping other people solve that problem. And guess what? That is a deep sense of purpose. That is one of the strongest sense of purpose you would ever get. Because why? People can pay you for it. Not will, but they can pay you for it if you know how to package it well. And that's my approach, because ever since I began to understand my purpose, I discovered that my purpose is to help other young men to find their purpose. It's quite funny, right? It's that easy. So because I'm not doing this because a lot of the times, one thing I really enjoy very, very well is talking to younger men, right? Precisely those that want to achieve what I've achieved already, or they want to basically have ideas in their head, or they want to get like second-hand ideas. I'm always there for them, and I really enjoy doing it. The third approach is using the future to detect what you're using the future and the past at all times completely to figure out your purpose. So you're asking yourself questions like, what do you want to be remembered for? Very powerful stuff, right? Because like I said, you really cannot create a purpose. You can only discover it. So what that means is, at least if you are moving towards something, you cannot turn a car unless it's already moving. So when you're moving towards what you think is your purpose, guess what? At some point, you will self-correct towards your own purpose. Because I, in the past, used to think my purpose was in tech, right? Was in tech. But guess what? I discovered that, to be very frank, tech was for me to just pay the bills, right? I'm not entirely sure that it could merge with me speaking to people and me coaching people. It was not really like that at all. So if I've answered that question, another question now is, it's very powerful. If money was not a problem, what will I do for free? Mind you, in my own story, in my university days, the people I was teaching, I barely charged them. Some of them would appreciate me with gifts, but I never charged anybody because I truly enjoyed the concept. Because every time I explained it to somebody else, to be very frank, I got a deeper understanding. And it's not about reading the book. That's why for my exam days, I barely read because I had explained this thing a lot of the time that it became second-hand nature to me. I just used to revise and I whisked past my uni days. Again, I was not really bothered about being top class. It was never my problem. So I just answered what I knew I would answer and leave the exam hall as quick as possible. So circling back is another question you can ask yourself is, what would be my biggest regret at my deathbed? And this is very powerful because it's an exercise that I keep doing from time to time when I see myself having limiting beliefs or factoring people's opinions. Ask myself, if I do it, right, guess what? They will not really think about me as much as I think. And also, so everybody will die soon, whether it's like 20 years or 30 years, 40 years, it's soon. What? I'm in my 20s, late 20s, and I've come to realize that time moves very fast, right? So, again, if you look at, again, one thing that also inspired me is looking at the lives of people in their 70s and 80s, what's their own biggest regrets? And one of their biggest regrets is not betting on themselves, has been one of their biggest, craziest regrets. And guess what? I don't want to regret that. I don't want to regret that I was factoring people's opinions. I couldn't make my own choices for myself. I don't want to regret that. So it's very powerful if you answer these questions, right? Because, again, it's best if you sit down and answer them. But guess what? Ask yourself, because sometimes whenever people do this exercise, they mostly answer from a place of ego. What that means is they just scramble long things. But if for people that have tried this exercise precisely for me, when they answer this question, when they ask themselves these questions, at some point the answers begin to come up sometimes a few days from now, a few weeks from now. But keep asking yourself those questions like, what do I enjoy if money was not a problem? What problems would I want to solve for myself that I'm very passionate about? Or what problems have I solved for myself that you are very passionate about? And you can help other people to solve that same problem, because like I said, your insecurities are a very good gift. That's why I tell you, your deepest insecurities, try solving them, enjoy the process, and help that to help other people. It could be a very big change, a very big. God damn it, English is a problem. So my name is Tonore. I strongly don't believe that we can fight feminism because it just makes you look insecure. What you can do, however, is to be on your purpose. Being on your purpose solves most of your problems. Actually, it makes you more attractive, it makes you more confident, it makes you more capable. So I feel the more guys we can get on their purpose, the better for us as humanities, and the more men feel empowered. Because if you think about it, men's major mental health problem comes from the fact that they want to feel powerful and capable. And one thing I'll tell you for sure is being on your purpose makes you alive as a man, makes you masculine as a man, also makes you attractive though, because it feels like you are aiming to this, you are going towards this interesting future. And that is what women see that draws them towards you. But a lot of guys get distracted. Again, the reason that people don't have their purpose, they get distracted. So I want you to please share this video with somebody who you know find it helpful, because the more men you can get on their purpose, the more men feel less depressed, the more men feel less anxious. And heck, please, thank you very much. My name is Stonore. I create content to help young men become better versions of themselves, to find the purpose for themselves, right? Again, it's a very simple process. You don't have to complicate it, but you have to just go down, sit down, think on these questions, and come up with the answers. It may not be immediately, but sometime. Thank you very much. Talk to you soon. And then please share this video.